Welcome back everyone. Let's go ahead and talk about none other than the Samsung Galaxy S9 and see how it holds up in the middle of 2021. Now, luckily or unluckily, not a crazy amount has changed, so there's still a lot of things that are still good about this specific device. Would I recommend you to buy it right now? It really just depends, is the Galaxy S9 the only phone you can you have in your pocket right now? If that's the case, keep it. But if you can spend a little bit more money, the Samsung Galaxy S10 time after time showcases itself as being one of the best devices for the dollar. And I've seen this for so long now, it's just like a no-brainer in my opinion. Now body-wise, the Galaxy S9 obviously hasn't changed at all since it first came out. You have the 5.8-inch Super AMOLED display on the front, 1440p, one of the best panels still. Curved display is just such a beautiful panel at the end of the day. And one of the best things about the Galaxy S9 is that compared even to like an S20 or S21, the S9's displays is still really good. And I feel like it's better visually than the S21, even though the S21 has a higher refresh rate. The S9's panel, I think, visually looks better. You have USB Type-C headphone jack and a microSD card slot on this device as well, which is another plus point. And on the back, glass back, single camera setup, and that fingerprint sensor. Now, I hate having fingerprint sensors on the back. I'd rather have them in the display now. But again, this was the year right before that change actually happened. So I think for sure this is a very solid device when you look at the outside of it. It's not perfect, but it still looks very good. For being a 2018 phone, it does look really good, and you do have to give it some credit there. Now, I guess, we have to hit on the camera since we're already on the back. Now, this thing has that 12 megapixel single camera setup, 4K at 60. It's still a very good camera, definitely not a bad camera at all. And on the front, I think it's actually a decent camera too. 8 megapixel sensor with a 2 megapixel iris scanner. You can do 1440p videos on the front as well. And overall, this camera is actually a pretty decent camera. I think even now, if you're taking videos, photos, it's going to be fine. I think the Galaxy S21's camera is definitely better, but this is a very solid camera for, I guess, the type of, experience you're going to get. So for sure, thumbs up for the camera department. Software-wise, this is one of the bigger issues that I still face with a lot of these Samsung phones. Now, luckily for us, this thing did stop at Android 10. So it didn't stop like today. It didn't stop, like last year. I think it actually did stop last year. But Android 10 isn't like a super old version of software. It's definitely not the latest, but it's only really like one official version behind, even though we're on Android 12 beta. So you're still really not missing on it too much. And in my opinion, Android 10 was a very good update for Samsung Galaxies. And with the S9 especially, it brought that gesture-based design fully, with full gestures and everything, which was beautiful. One UI 1 kind of had it, but not really. This was a whole nother level, and it's definitely something that I really did like about these devices. So definitely when it comes down to that, thumbs up for me in terms of software for it ending so soon, but still being pretty decent. I wish I got, Android 11 and Android 12, but I will take Android 10 on it, and I think it's a decent stopping point in my opinion. Now, we always have to go ahead and hit on the performance, and this was kind of a quick little, mid-2021 summary, and there wasn't really a whole lot that changed, but it's still worth talking about. Now, this thing does have that Qualcomm Snapdragon 845 chipset, an octa-core CPU, Adreno 630 GPU, and there's 4 gigabytes of RAM on every single model of this device. And as I've stated before, again, this is a pretty solid performing phone, even now. I think the gestures was the one thing that really helped improve the whole entire fluidity of this device. And for that, I have to thank Samsung. I think that really made this phone feel like a little bit better of a performing device. If you're planning on getting a phone and you want to use it for as long as possible, this is definitely not the device you want to pick up. But for the time being, it's still a pretty decently performing phone. It's not completely slow. And like I mentioned, it's not even that old. So you're going to get a pretty decent performing device from this thing. It's not going to be perfect, but I think for the time being and for a majority of people out there, you're probably going to get a pretty decent performing device from it. So in terms of performance, I would say thumbs up for the year and everything that it came out, but it's definitely not the phone I would recommend people to buy as of right now. So in terms of that pretty much covers it up there. And to kind of sum up this video and to answer the question, should you still buy a Samsung Galaxy S9 in the middle of 2021? Well, this is what I'll tell you. I think this phone still has some characteristics. I think it still is a pretty decent phone overall. I don't think it's perfect. I don't think it's an amazing value per dollar. I think it's a good phone, and that's pretty much where I would leave it at. I think the camera's good. I think the performance is good. I think everything is good per dollar and per the year it came out. If, Samsung released a phone like this in this day and age that already was out of software, that was already kind of slow and, didn't really have the best specifications of this day and age, then obviously I wouldn't recommend people to buy it. But because it has gone down in value quite a bit, and because you can probably pick it up for like $150, probably even cheaper than that, and I think that's a pretty decent price to pay for this device. Again, not perfect, but I think it gets the job done. And if you can spend a little bit more money, I would highly, highly, highly recommend you to pick up something like a Samsung Galaxy S10. That is going to be a much better performing device for a majority of people out there, and it just makes way more sense to me to recommend that device over the Samsung Galaxy S9. So that essentially covers it up. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly, everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.